Matthew chapter 12, verse 9. And it reads, "Now when he had departed from there, he went into the synagogue, and behold, there was a man who had a withered hand. And he asked him, saying, and they asked him, saying, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath? That they may accuse him." Verse 11. Then he said, "What man is there among you who has one sheep, and it falls into a pit on the Sabbath, will not lay hold of it and lift it out? Of how much more value then is a man than a sheep? Therefore, it is lawful to do good on the Sabbath." Then he said to the man, "Stretch out your hand." And he stretched it out, and it was restored as whole as the other. Then the Pharisees went out and plotted against him, how they might destroy him. Verse 15. But then Jesus knew it. He withdrew from there, and the great multitude followed him, and he healed them all, yet warned them not to make him known, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, "Behold, my servant whom I have chosen, my beloved in whom my soul is well pleased. I will put my spirit upon him, and he will declare justice to the Gentiles. He will not quarrel nor cry out, nor will anyone hear his voice in the streets. A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoking flask he will not quench, till he sends forth justice to victory." Justice to victory. "And in his name, Gentiles will trust." First, I want to talk to you about today. It's about promise. See, God didn't personally deliver the promise, but he chose a prophet and said, a prophet Isaiah, and Isaiah wrote and spoke that which God gave him. It was a promise that I'm going to send you someone that you can trust in. I'm going to send you someone, I'm going to put my spirit on him, and he is someone you can trust. No matter what happens, you can trust him. Not the Jews, not the one who holds the covenant, not the one who wrote the law. No. The Gentiles. The one that doesn't even know about God. The Gentile means not to be a Jew. That's what a Gentile means. I am not a Jew. It's Jews and Gentiles. Everyone out of the Jewish circle is a Gentile. But the law was established through the Jews. And the promise came through the Jews. But there's an extension to the Gentiles. There's an extension to the Africans. There's an extension to the Jamaicans. There's an extension to the Haitians. There's an extension to anyone who's willing to trust him. Proverbs says, "Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Lead not to your own understanding. In all of your ways, trust him, and he shall make straight your paths." That's a promise. But with every promise, there is revelation. And with every revelation, there's a principle. You can't get the promise without the principle. Jesus talks about sowing seeds, right? There's this man, actually it's the next chapter, chapter 13, if you want to read it. He says, there's a man who sows good seed. He sows it on good ground, and some fall between stony ground, and some fall near thorns, and they choke up and die. They just don't have a chance. But the ones that fall on good ground, they are fruitful. Now, if you want to be a farmer, the first thing you need is what? Seed. It is better to have the seed first before the ground. Because the first thing he says is there is a man that has seed. He's a sower. That means you can't be a sower if you have no seed. The good ground is already given to us. We have dominion. We live on earth. But he's sowing. And when he sows, some fall on good ground. And some falls on bad ground. But it's not about the sower. I'm concerned about the seed. Now, if I plant a tree, what is the first thing that the tree needs? The principle of planting is that you need a seed and you need good ground to make it last, right? The seed has everything it needs. See, when you look at the tree, you're going to see roots, you're going to see a bark, you're going to see branches, and you're going to see fruit. Now, the seed, when you plant it, and it falls on good ground, is in the ground, right? Jesus said to those whom he healed, he said, don't tell them who I am. Jesus is the seed. And he's saying, I'm going to bless you, but don't tell them who I am. Jesus is the promise. Isn't it amazing how you can have the promise in front of you, but it's telling everything around it, please cover me. He's telling the one that you call dirty, dirt, ground, soil, you're dirty, cover me. Don't tell them who I am. I'll heal you, I'll nourish you, but please, shh, keep it quiet. Don't tell them anything. Because I want to fulfill the first principle. See, they said, hey, wait. Listen, is it all right for you to be healing people on the Sabbath day? And he says, it's good for me to do good on the Sabbath because you would save a sheep, but the man who's suffering needs more help than the sheep. He's more valuable than the sheep. And his mind is on the sheep. Jesus says, you're the sheep. And he's coming to come and take you out of the pit. I promise you that. But remember, he's the seed. But he's saying, don't tell them who I am. Cover me. Don't tell them where I am. If you want to plant something that's valuable, you never tell anyone where it is. If I plant a good seed, I want it to be a good, strong tree, bearing good fruits. If I tell people where it is, they'll come and take what I've planted while it's premature. But if I water it and take care of it and nurture it, then the tree will grow all by itself, strong, and no one can take it. You can't take what God has nourished. C.O.R.E International Ministries, I've been praying about this church. I've been asking God, what in the world is C.O.R.E about? And he said, they're planted in good ground. He said, you ever wondered why most people come and then leave? It's because it's not that the ground is not good. It's just that they don't have enough grace to receive the revelation. When you plant the seed, it already has the roots. When I water the seed doesn't need roots for it to grow the roots it needs. Jesus is the seed, and he doesn't need roots in order to establish himself. All he needed was the grace of God enough for him to expand. And he said, by my command, don't tell them where I am, who I am, what I am. Because they'll never seek me if they don't know me. And I'm still in my premature stage. And if you expose who I am too soon, I will terminate the promise. So there's a principle to sowing. I need to take the seed. I need to plant it in the ground. I need to water it. I need to nurture it. There is a process. Because there's three things. The title of my message is Promise, Revelation, Principle. But the first thing is principle. In order for me to have revelation of who the person is or what the person is, I have to first do a principle. If I meet somebody, right? Matter of fact, if I wanted to date a girl, let's just say when I was out there in the world, and I wanted to talk to a girl, right? What's the principle of getting a girl's number? Huh? First thing, you can't be awkward. You got to be confident. You have to look good, smell good, talk good. There's a principle to catching that which you want. So if I want to talk to somebody, I might say, hey, how you doing? My name is Jerry. You look real nice today. I compliment her by what I say. The principle of catching that which I want, I have to expose the good in me. I work in New York City and I drive by thousands and thousands of people. Every person that I drive next to or by doesn't pay attention to me. But it's not until I open my mouth and begin to present them who I am. That's when my worth, my value, who I am, the seed that I am begins to be exposed. So the person begins to have revelation of who I am the moment I open my mouth. But until I present myself, they'll never know who I am, what I'm worth. But now Jesus is saying, I know I healed this person, but please don't tell them who I am. See, now if I want to, now I take the girl out. Now I'm saying, like, listen, can I get your number real quick? And the girl gives me her number. And then I talk to her. Some guys be like, don't call her for at least 2 days, right? Don't call her the same day. Don't text her the same day. You wait about 2 days. There's a principle that we follow through this, right? I'm just being real with you. You can talk to me. I'm not going to be deep today. I'm going to be real. So if somebody want to talk to you, you don't call them the same day because, he's thirsty. Like he kind of cute, but like, I swear, he just wants too much. But if you give it some time, let her miss you a little bit. And then 9 o'clock on a Tuesday evening, hey, what's up? See, that's a principle. If you follow the principle, you'll get revelation. But if you don't follow the principle and you move too fast and you say too much, the ground will shut up. It doesn't matter how much seed you plant. If you don't follow the principle of watering, the person will never see your value because you did too much. If you water too much, if you talk too much, you shut down the ground. So I have to watch what I'm saying, how I'm saying it, because I'm following the principle, because I'm coming after her heart. If a man, a good man, I'm not talking about the other guy, if you're coming after her heart, you are patient. What is the first thing that they say about love? Love is patient. Love is kind. So all of those things I have to present at first. So then I'm saying, okay, cool. So every day I'm talking to her, I'm actually watering us. And I'm showing her me as I'm getting to know her. And the more we talk, I'm like, what's your favorite color? She'd be like, blue. I'm like, where do you like to chill at? I like to go to the mall and stuff like that. Now, she's revealing to me who she is based upon the communication we have. So as I'm talking, she's beginning to show me who she is. But it's not until she talks, I'm not able to know who she is. And the thing about it is, if I talk to her for a whole week, I still haven't got full revelation yet. So then it's been 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Every day we talk, we chill, we hang out. Then it doesn't seem like it's much. It's watering every day, watering every day, watering every day, watering every day. And I'm like, come on now, boo-boo. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? It's been like 6 months. I've been waiting. Come on now. So she's like, no. Not until you put a ring on it first. Now the revelation, she's not a hoe. She's a good girl. That's a revelation all for us. Oh, Lord, she's not going to give me the cookie until I put a ring on it. That's a revelation. I just found out this is a good fruit. I can't just plant this and eat it and run. She's telling me in order for me to have the best, I have to plant the garden and not just give her a rose. If you love it, then you should have put a ring on it. You should have put a ring on it. See, the revelation you get when a woman says put a ring on it is that she ain't stupid. So now the man, if he's wicked, he trying to go around and he tries to get her on the good days. He knows when, I'm going to be real with you, he knows when she has her period. And the man knows that before her period and after her period, she's at her highest level. And she's always talking, no, I can't chill out with you today. She's like, come on, boo-boo. Because he knows 6 months, I've already spent so much time with you. I know where you're vulnerable. But Jesus said, don't tell them who I am because I'm vulnerable in this place. So, you marry the woman. You put a ring on it. You walk down the aisle. You guys have your honeymoon, but revelation still didn't hit yet. You want to know why revelation didn't hit yet? Because you still didn't get the promise. Because everything's been sweet for the 1.5 years you've been dating. Everything's so wonderful. Everything's so perfect. He buys me flowers. He takes care of me. She cooks. She cleans. She does everything. Oh, my God, I'm going to put a ring on it. Revelation still hasn't come. And in the day of the wedding, you play all these nice songs. All my life, I've waited for someone like you. And I thank God that I finally found you. Woo! Close to me, you're like my mother. Close to me, you're like my father. Close to me, you're like my sister. Close to me, you're like my brother. Woo! But that ain't the promise. That's just the stems of the fruit. It's an extension. When you look at the stems of the flower, it's nothing but the extension. When you look at the branches, you're seeing the extension. With arms wide open wide. Oh, come on, baby, come on. But the fruit is still not there. The promise you still haven't touched. You have somewhat of a revelation of who she could be. You know she's an apple tree. You know she's going to take a little while, but if you keep on watering her, you see how strong she is. She's patient. She's not tested by the weather yet. Ooh, you don't know if you got a good tree until the weather hits. Because it's not about how well the spring and the summer is. It's about how cold the fall is. It's how bitter the winter is. It's about how hard it is. When it's tough, does she still bear fruit? Now, I want to talk about a specific tree now. It is the olive tree. The olive tree is presented at Noah after the 40 days, and he spent a year and 10 days in the boat. He sends a dove out. The dove goes out, comes back with nothing. He sends it out again, and the dove comes back with what? Let me tell you something. I did a little bit of research. The olive tree is the only thing that can last through anything. And what do we anoint your head with? Olive oil. See, the reason why we use olive oil is because it represents who you are through the storm, not while it's sweet. You don't have a wife who's good. It's okay if she's good through it and it's all right, but you don't know if you really have a husband or a wife or a spouse until it's hell breaking loose. Oh, when the wind begins to blow, the leaves will leave. Leaves will leave. Branches will break. The extension of my love, of my grace, and how much I love you will break. I don't feel like loving you no more. I break. I don't want to hug you no more. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm done. I'm finished. And you still didn't even get the promise yet. The songs you were singing when you were watering it, you wasn't singing when the weather was changing. You was trying to get a warm place, a place to be comforted, a place to be loved. But when it really got cold, you took her wood, you cut her down, and made a fireplace. That which you needed for the spring that's coming, you cut it down and you threw it in the furnace because you needed to be kept warm. But if you would have waited a little bit longer, if you would have kept the promise in mind, you would have been able to reap after the storm. After everything's over, after everything's broken. See, the honeymoon doesn't start the day of your wedding. The honeymoon starts after the boat has been rocked, tested, tried. It doesn't work. There's no promise if you leave me too soon. If I'm premature, exposed of my weakness, I will never be fruitful to you. So we cut it down. And we threaten it every day. We get so deep, we like Jesus, we be like, listen, I'll give you 1 year. If this marriage don't work in 1 year, I'm cutting it off. Does anybody here have Jesus in them? Anybody here has Christ? Come on, if you Holy Ghost believers, come on, raise hands now. Do I have Jesus? How much of him? Okay, let's go. So now, if you're tested, can I see him? Can I see the olive oil when it's the hardest? See, the reason why I use this as an example is because I understand that the promise doesn't come because you did it right in the beginning. Some of us have been choking on the revelation of who our spouses are. Revelation never stops coming as long as you're living. I didn't know you were dirty like that. Oh my God, I didn't know you were that stubborn. Yo, you're just so annoying. Why didn't you say that over the phone? Like for a year and a half, you were dating me. Because revelation didn't come yet. See, now you're dating and you've married, and now you're married and you don't even know who you're married to. Because the song was, till the end. I'm going to be with you till the end. You talk about how you're filled with Holy Ghost. And I trust and believe. I believe you because I've seen it. But when I look, what I've come to discover is that the Holy Spirit is someone who searches. He doesn't stop because there's an obstacle. He doesn't stop because there's a challenge. Jesus didn't stop because he said, look, they're trying to accuse me. I don't want to die on the cross no more. I came here to heal you, and you come over here, and you're trying to crucify me. I came for you. He didn't stop because of their actions. See, revelation came to both Pharisee and Gentile. Because the Pharisees were like, I'm going to reveal who I really am to Christ. I'm someone who builds a case. But the person who's broken and needs a healing will always come to Christ and say, I need a touch. See, when you don't know who Christ is until he reveals himself. See, John says it. He says, Jesus was the life, and in him was the light of men. The reason why he's the life, it's because he's bringing food, he's bringing water. I come to give you life and give it to you more abundantly. But I'm also the light so that you can see who you are. See what you're dealing with. Because you can never be really grateful about who Christ is until you really see you. Why I gotta say, God, you're wonderful and you're so great if you don't see me? Most of the time, we don't know who we are until the Lord shows up. The moment he shows up, I recognize who I am. So I don't blame the Pharisees for trying to build a case against Christ because that's who they are. It's revelation. And when you look at your spouse and you see how angry they are and how frustrated they are and how stupid they can be, that's revelation in who they are. But it doesn't stop the anointing from keep on going until you find it. Find the promise. Find the promise. He doesn't stop because he's noticed how weak you are. He doesn't stop when he noticed how sick you are. He doesn't stop after he finds out that you're a cheater, a murderer, a thief. He doesn't stop because you broke all 10 commandments. He walks through it all and says, I'm still looking for Holy Ghost. I'm still looking for the promise. I'm still looking for what I gave you because I promised you. I promised you. I promised you. See, when he shows up not when it's all flowery. Jesus shows up when there's no sun outside. One time I heard somebody say, you can plant the seed and you could even bring the water. But if you don't have the grace for the sun to shine, it doesn't matter what you did. You can plant the seed, buy her flowers, treat her nice, but until the grace of God shows up, it doesn't matter what you've done. So you're saying, God, I've worked the principle. I have married her. I have treated her right. I have cooked. I have cleaned. I have done everything I was supposed to do. I slept with him. I did everything. I catered to him. And yet he still doesn't love me. She still doesn't love me. You still don't want me. I've done the principle. I've seen the revelation of who they are. I've seen how wicked they can be. I've seen how crazy their thoughts are. I know how bad they want to destroy me. And I still can't see the promise. The promise doesn't come until you die. Jesus is not the promise until he's crucified. See, he can heal you. And he can anoint you. See, that's who he is. I recognize that Jesus, his ministry didn't start when he got baptized. His ministry started at a wedding. He came to meet the need. Jesus is in the wedding, and his mother comes up to him and says, listen, there's no wine. And he says, what does that have to do with me? My hour hasn't come. In other words, this ain't my wedding. She doesn't even respond to what he says because he recognized Jesus is someone who comes to meet the need. She looks at the servant and said, listen, whatever he tells you to do, do. And he says, put water in these 6 barrels. That's principle. I'm obedient to what he says. And he says, take the cup of water. And as I'm bringing the water to the people of the wedding, they drank it and it was wine. Don't break the principle. Don't stop pouring. Don't stop pouring out. Don't stop loving just because you haven't seen it yet. Don't stop just because you're still serving them. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop serving. Don't stop pouring out. Don't stop because the Holy Spirit is searching for the wine of God deep down inside of you. Because if it was easily found, it was going to be something that was temporary. See, a man always likes to give a woman a rose. I bought my wife a rose last night. And the rose have little roots and can be plucked out easily. But the seed of a tree runs deep down. You can see the tree right here, and its roots end up 2 miles from here because it says, I ain't going nowhere. And even if I can't find water right where I am, I'll find it down the street somehow. You cut off the circulation. You don't let no water come here. But little do you know, I'm so outstretched, not by what you can see outside and how well I can lift up my hands and how long I can praise. But when you look down in my roots of my spirit, I'm stretched out to God. No matter how much hell is happening where I am, right where I am, right where I am. I'm still struggling. I still don't feel too much good. I'm still dealing with some sickness. I'm still dealing with some struggles. Oh God, I'm right here. And I don't even have my hands lifted up no more. I'm sitting down in church now. Oh my God, I don't want to praise them no more. See, don't look at my branches, look at my roots. Because even when my hands aren't lifted up, my spirit, which is deep down inside of me, is still receiving from God. I still got something coming in. Even when I'm broke, I don't got no job, I ain't got no money, somehow I'm still receiving the grace of God. He's still watering me. Everything I'm in right now is toxic. The ground is dirty and flowers won't bloom. Everything around me is dying, but they're looking at the tree that's withering. But how is it still standing? I'm still drinking from another side. Don't look at where I am. Look where I'm reaching. Look where my spirit is trying to touch. You want to know why it's so bad to cut down trees? I'd be seeing certain houses with mad trees. And they went, don't cut these trees down. They said it's dangerous to the house that it's planted next to because between the foundation is a tree root. What? You mean my house is standing on the root of a tree? And if you're telling me if I cut down the tree and the root dies, my house goes too? You're going to catch that when you get home, don't worry. When I cut down the root that God has planted in my field, if you ever cut down the tree of faith, the tree of productivity, the tree of love, the tree of peace, the tree of patience, the tree of kindness, the tree of grace, if you ever cut it down, my house goes down too. If you ever cut down Jesus out of my life, my foundation is broken. I'm not worried about anything else. If you ever cut down the root of who I am, I'm finished. I'm finished. I don't have nothing left. I have nothing left to offer. I have nothing left to give. My house is broken. if you ever take Jesus, if you ever leave with my roots. But Jesus he knows just who you were. And they call him the bridegroom. Jesus is the bridegroom. His ministry started at a wedding because he wanted to prove to you. It's a revelation that he's preparing himself to marry someone who is undeserving. You can be married to someone, dating someone, and realize how undeserving they are of you. You don't deserve me. I should have married so-and-so. No, you don't treat me right. Little did you know, you found the revelation of your spouse, but you didn't find the revelation of the one that you're claiming to you want to be with. I should have been with Kevin. I should have been with Danielle. I should have been with somebody else. You never got their revelation. But God is giving you an opportunity to see the revelation of the person sitting next to you. And you're saying, because it's so much dirt, so much sin, so much brokenness, so much curses, and you're saying it's not fruitful. It's only fruitful because you stop searching. Holy Spirit, keep searching. Keep on looking. Keep on finding it. Because if you don't find the promise, you ain't there yet. I told you at the end of the road, I still won't let go. I know our term is over. I really don't feel like you really love me anymore. But there's like a climax to the song. And the lyric says, if you love me again like you loved me before, but this time I want you to love me much more. In other words, I know our road is over. That chapter of our relationship is over. But if you could take a moment and now begin to really love me, the cheating me, the lying me, the thief in me, if you can ever really love the dark side of me, you're transitioning from seeing my fruits, transitioning from seeing my branches, transition from seeing my bark, transition to seeing my roots, transition to seeing my dirt, transition to seeing my wrong, my faults. Because if you can't love the whole tree, you can't love the roots. If you can't love the roots, you can't love the tree. You can't eat from my fruits and not appreciate my roots. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know my struggles. You don't know if I was raped at 9 years old. You don't know why I act the way I am. You don't know why I'm so crazy. It's because I have a root. You don't know why I lift up my hands and give God praise. It's because I have a root. But every root that receives water also receives grace. If God didn't tear me down, and you are my friend, my brother, my wife, whatever, and the moment you see my dark side, and you look at me wrong, you never loved me. You loved my fruits. You never loved where I came from. See, it's always easy to love the man with money. But if you ever met him when he was 10 years old, broke and alone, it wouldn't be easy to love that person. Love runs deep because the promise comes from the principles of not just saying, I love you to the end. But it's after you've seen revelation of who the person really is, then I can really love you.